Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked in this pen tray for this week. So I think let's just briefly go through these one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii. We have a Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Starlight. We have a Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Sunlight. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana, and this is the Furore Volcano. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Kappa Mundi. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Coral. And we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Blue Abyss Celluloid. So, let's go through these pens in a little bit more detail. This is the stunning Leonardo Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo. Now, this is a celluloid material. It's not a resin, so these the resins are the cheaper versions of the Momento Zeros. This is not only a celluloid version, it comes with a 14 karat gold nib and it's a piston filling pen instead of a cartridge converter. But this is a beautiful pen and it's limited edition of 100 and this is number 4 of 100. And this comes with a 14 karat gold medium nib, and I do love how this writes a lot. Then we have the Leonardo, and this is the Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii. Now this is a resin version, not a celluloid, but this material is very, very captivating. It's a very much of a blue ocean waves with a beach effect going on there. Absolutely stunning. This, because it is a resin version, it comes with a steel nib and it's a broad nib that I have in here. It's a cartridge converter pen, but I just love how this writes. Now this, because it's a resin and it's a steel nib and a cartridge converter, it's not a limited edition like the Mediterraneo. This is a numbered edition and this is 393. But again, this is a beautiful pen and it's a pen that I like writing with a lot, so I have it inked up with me this week. Then we have the Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Starlight, and this is a beautiful pen. You can just see there the Vardhan strips and that gold dust is absolutely stunning. So I'm so glad I was able to pick this pen up for Christmas 2019, and it's a beautiful pen. It's a pen that I've been after for a couple of years now. This comes with a Pelican large number 8 size M-1000 nib. These come by default, these Vardhan versions, with a medium nib. But I just love this pen. I love the size, I love the weight, I love the ink capacity, and I love how wet that this pen writes. So I have that one inked up this week. Then I have its sibling, its brother or sister, and this is the Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Sunlight, and this has very similar Vardhan stripes like the Sunlight does, or the Starlight I should say. This is a Sunlight, but it doesn't have the gold dust on it, so I really like this. I like that it actually the Vardhan strips punch a little bit more in terms of their brightness. This is a beautiful pen. I picked this up for my birthday in 2020. This is a Pelican M-1000, and as with all Pelican M-1000 nibs, they are a very large number 8 size nib, and this is a medium nib. Again, they write very, very wet, and I just love how those Pelican M-1000 nibs write. I also have inked up this Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore, and this is the Volcano. And again, I just love this material. You can almost see that it's named Volcano because of the volcanic ash that is a very sort of blacky grey colour. Now, these are entry-level Leonardos. These are cartridge converters. They do come with a steel nib. This is a broad nib, but it writes really well. And I have to say, it doesn't have any baby's bottom on it whatsoever. It's a beautiful writing nib. And then I have inked up my trusty Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog, and this is a beautiful ribbon effect pen, although that ribbon is a little bit muted with ink in the barrel of the pen, but this is a stunning, stunning pen. I love this pen for a lot of reasons. It was my first Grail pen that I was able to acquire in my collection. I have since acquired many, many more. This comes with a power vac. It holds a huge capacity of around 2 to 2.5 millilitres of ink. It has a double reservoir. It has the hook safe lock mechanism, which means you can cap and uncap within quarter of a turn. And it also has a 23 cat palladium nib, and this is a fine nib. And I just love how this writes. It writes smooth and wet, and I just love it. I love it to bits. So that's another pen that I have inked up this week. And then another Visconti is the Homo Sapiens Kappa Mundi. And there's a number of versions of this. The Kappa Mundi was the one that was the limited edition in Italy. And you will see here that it actually says it's a limited edition run of 50. Now, there were smaller limited edition ones with a silver trim and a dark ruthenium trim in the US, but they were called the Red Wine, and this is called the Kappa Mundi. But this is a beautiful Homo Sapiens, again, power vac, double reservoir, huge capacity of ink, hook safe lock mechanism, and a 23 cat palladium medium nib, which writes very, very wet. And then I have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade inked up. You just see the ink sloshing around there in the body. And again, I just love this pen. It's a pen that I didn't love massively to start with when I bought it, but I wanted a pen to match the Kappa Mundi, and I thought this would be ideal, but I have now since fallen in love with it. So again, it's a power vac, double reservoir, huge capacity of ink, and it's a hook safe lock mechanism, and I have a 23 cat palladium medium nib on this pen, but I just love it. I love how this pen writes. And then we have inked up the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the coral. And you can see here, initially this looks like it's just a plain red pen, but there are some like oily streaks going through that material. Now, this is not a limited edition, it's a numbered edition. This is 3,448. So clearly they've made a lot of these. Now, it is a steel nib version of the pen. It's a medium nib there, but these just actually feel really nice in the size of my hand. So again, I just love having those Leonardos inked up. And then last but not least, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero. Now this is the Blue Abyss. Now this is similar to the Mediterraneo. It's a celluloid version. So celluloid normally means that it's going to be a higher price, and it is. But it also has a 14 karat gold nib, and it has a piston. So it's not a cartridge converter. Now this is a limited edition of 100 there, and this is on loan to me from John, and this one, this one, I should say, that's mine. This is also on loan from John at St John's Pens, so I'd like to thank him for loaning me these pens for review. But you can see here, this is a 14 karat gold nib, and it's a medium nib, but this is a lovely, lovely writing nib. So I also have that one inked up with me today as well. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen I have inked up today is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo. So let's do an ink swatch. Now this is a medium nib, but it's also quite a wet writing nib as well. So this is the Leonardo, and it's the Momento Zero, and it's the Mediterraneo, and it's a medium 14 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Robert Oster, and it's Australian Sky Blue, which is a beautiful colour, and I think it matches that pen quite nicely. The next pen is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii. So again, we'll do an ink swatch, and you can already see that this is a super wet nib. It's also a very broad nib as well. So this is the Leonardo Momento Zero, and it's the Hawaii, and it's a broad steel nib, and then the ink in here is Robert Oster, Blue Water Ice. If I can try and spell whilst I talk at the same time. The next pen I have inked up is the Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Starlight. So we'll do an ink swatch. Again, this is a very wet nib. It's a Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Starlight, and it's a medium 18 cat gold nib, which, to be honest, these Pelican M-1000 nibs tend to write more like a broad or double broad. The ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku, and it's Inner Ho, but that is a beautiful writing nib. Now the next pen I have inked up is a Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Sunlight. We'll do an ink swatch, and you can see that this also is a wet nib as well. So it's the Pelican M-1000, and it's the Vardhan Sunlight, and it's a medium 18 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Sailor Gentle Apricot, which is a beautiful orange ink. I think actually goes quite well with the Sunlight name of the pen. The next pen is a Leonardo Officina Italiana, and this is a Furore in the Volcano. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, you can see this is quite a wet nib. So this is the Leonardo Furore, and it is a Volcano, and it's a broad steel nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku, and it's Kiri Sami, which is a lovely grey ink. And then we have the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now this is a fine nib, but it still puts down quite a wet line. So it's the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog in a fine 23 carat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku, and it's Con Peki, which is several of my favourite blue inks. And then we have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, you can see this is quite a wet writing nib. And this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens. And it's the Caput Mundi. And it's a medium 23 carat palladium nib. And then the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, Garnet. The next pen we have is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade. And we'll do an ink swatch. And again, this is quite a wet writing nib. So it's a Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade in a medium 23 carat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, Jade. The next pen we have inked up is the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero, and this is the Coral. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now this is a finer nib, although it still is a medium nib, but it writes finer, still quite wet, but it writes finer than the Visconti nibs. So this is the Leonardo, and it's the Momento Zero in the Coral, and it is a medium steel nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, Matador. But that is a beautiful red ink as well. And then last but not least, we have the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the blue Abyss Celluloid. So we'll do an ink swatch. And you can see this is a very, very wet nib. Now, strangely enough, you would think that that is a broad nib, but it's actually a medium. So this is a Leonardo, and it's the Momento Zero, and it is the blue Abyss in a medium 14 carat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Blackstone, Barrier Reef, which is a lovely blue ink that I like a lot. So I think let's just go through these pens inked up one more time. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo in a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Robert Oster Australian Sky Blue. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii with a broad steel nib, inked up with Robert Oster Blue Water Ice. We have a Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Starlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku in a Ho. We have a Pelican M-1000 Vardhan Sunlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Sailor Gentle Apricot. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Furore Volcano in a broad steel nib inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Kirisami. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog in a fine 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki. And we have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Kappa Mundi in a medium 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Garnet. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade in a medium 23 karat palladium nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Jade. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in a coral medium steel nib inked up with Diamine Matador. And last but not least, we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Blue Abyss celluloid with a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Blackstone Barrier Reef. So there you have it, that's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.